Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Capitath. In today's video, we're just going to be talking a little bit about World of Warcraft Classic Cataclysm, and just kind of my experience with it so far. It's only been out about a week. Um, and yeah, I just kind of, like I said, wanted to start making videos here on my channel. This is my first video, and basically, we're just going to be talking about a couple of things Cataclysm related. Just kind of like my experience within the first week and what it's like as someone who's, cleared all the raids and has two level 85 characters. Um, so first of all, let's talk about the leveling. The leveling was pretty fast. I mean, like I said, I've leveled two characters now, to 85. Definitely the second character I leveled faster than the first one because the first one, was opening night. There was uh, congestion in all the questing zones, which is to be, kind of expected. But overall, I would say it was a pretty smooth launch experience. I didn't have any disconnects, any kind of nonsense, nothing like that. It was just very much get on for the night and go, with the homies, which was very nice. The leveling experience was pretty great. I mostly did some dungeons and then deep home for my first character, and then exclusively just did questing for my second character. I felt like the questing was faster and also maybe a little bit more enjoyable. Although, like I said, the first night questing is always just, it's a different experience. Part of it is uh, a lot of people there makes the questing a little bit more difficult, but also um, some of those quests were just kind of bugged. Like one that comes to mind is the dwarf boon quest in Deepholm, where you got to boon the dwarves, and it was a 3 minute uh, cooldown, or it was a 3 minute buff, plus you know, your quest progress wasn't shared amongst your friends, and it was not the best. But besides those sorts of things, overall, I would say that the leveling experience and the launch experience first night was very great. The whole first week was pretty fun. Just spamming heroic dungeons. Was great. I thought that, or I think rather, that the Cataclysm dungeons so far are some of my favorite dungeons. One that comes to mind that's a little bit long, but I really loved at first was Dead Mines. The heroic version of that I've never done before, and that's just a fantastic dungeon. It's a little long, now going back into these heroic dungeons and doing them for like 30 minutes sometimes is it's I mean that's a little long, but definitely during the first week, some very enjoyable content. I think that the Cataclysm dungeons are probably some of the best dungeons, like I said, that I've seen so far, having played, TBC and Wrath, and I played a little bit of vanilla as well, but really great dungeons. Like I said, really good design, really straightforward, very linear. I like that. It's not super difficult to get lost in some of them, although like Halls of Origination comes to mind. Definitely get lost in there at first. Throwing the tides as well, but um, I like that the mechanics are actual mechanics and you have to do them. There's a little bit of cheesing that you can do, but at least at first, when everyone was still just going in there in like questing gear, I mean, you would wipe groups if you didn't do the mechanic properly, which is great because I feel like they're, especially in Wrath, you could just really cheese a lot of those dungeons and just bulldoze through them. So it's kind of nice to actually have to, follow some mechanics. I definitely got uh, caught out quite a few times getting complacent and getting one shot by mechanics. Which leads me to my next point, which is that the pugs can be really hit or miss. Sometimes you get really good, like sweaty pugs who know what they're doing and everything, and then sometimes it's just the dungeons can be a wipe fest, and it feels, queuing up sometimes, if you're not queuing up with like a guild group, is, sometimes you're about to have the best dungeon of your life. Sometimes you're about to have the worst dungeon of your life. And so, I guess that's kind of an old problem, but I was something I wanted to talk about because I was definitely affected by that quite a bit. Where I've left a lot of groups, uh, mid dungeon. I've noticed a lot of people are leaving these days. I don't know. I haven't really been keeping up to on retail. I don't know if that's a common thing, but people are definitely like a lot more apt to just bail on the dungeon, it feels like, which is fine. Like I said, I've done it myself, but just figured something I would note. So that leads me to the raids. So Personally, I'm a huge raider. That's the reason that I'm playing Cataclysm. That's kind of like my main focus. The whole point was to get a character into raids on the first night. And we did. My guild, we cleared all three raids on normal. The guild's unregistered hypercam on White Mane. We're a new hardcore guild. Um, and yeah, like I said, the we went in first night on normal. I watched the race to world first, and we went ahead and cleared everything. The Throne of Four Winds, frankly, that raid is a big skip for me. I don't know. It's not a particularly interesting or compelling raid to me personally. I didn't really care for the mechanic of having to swim up and down. I actually died because I swam too low, I guess, um, on our kill, and so I mean, not that that's the reason I don't like that boss, but yeah, just that raid. When I was watching the guide videos, I figured of the three, that was going to be the one I was least excited for, and I was glad to get that one done first because it was, like I said, kind of the least interesting raid of the three. Um, which leads me to Bastion of Twilight. I think that's a great raid. Bastion of Twilight and also Blackwing Descent are great raids in my opinion. There's some really fun and interesting boss fights in there. There's not too much trash. It's sort of like a couple of trash packs in between boss fights, which I'm not a huge fan of lots of trash. And so that is something that I definitely enjoy about both raids. It's literally two or three packs into the next boss fight. Um, and that's going to be really nice for going into heroic prog for us next week. I will say on normal, all the bosses were really easy. I think our whole plan was to just go in on normal and get a bunch of gear, which we did. And in our 3 hour raid time, we were able to clear all three raids on normal with extremely minimal wipes, and we even did a little bit of Halfus Wormbreaker prog in there as well. But yeah, so I feel like the raids were just kind of easy. And not that I'm complaining about that. I don't necessarily want to have a first tier that is going to push your teeth in, but I am certainly like craving that heroic progression experience. And I'm excited to get in there next week or in this next lockout and just kind of go about doing some heroics. Because, like I said, definitely the on normal, it's very, very easy, which is good because I think it's very puggable. I think if you're in like an organized group, like guild content, or guild that focuses on doing content, like I think heroic is at least most of the heroics. There's obviously a spectrum of easier heroics and harder heroics. I think that most guilds will be doing a lot of the heroics, but it's very puggable, especially if you're into GDKPs and stuff like that. I know I'm bringing my priest to a GDKP tomorrow night that's just doing normals, and I'm pretty confident that that group's going to full clear in the allotted time slot because it's very simple mechanics. Everyone only has a thing or two to worry about, not too much personal responsibility, again, at least on normal. On heroic, obviously all that changes, but on normal, uh definitely very puggable, very easy to understand raids. Um, and I'm definitely a fan of the design. Blackwing Descent comes to mind. I really like the whole idea of just like separate little wings, and here's two trash packs, then the boss. Here's another trash pack, then the boss. Here's two trash packs on the way, then a boss. Like I just that is a fantastic design for me. Um, I wish every raid was that way. I'm not a big fan of these huge sprawling, 17 trash packs in between. Like Sunken Temple SOD comes to mind because I'm also playing that. Um, yeah, I'm not a fan of that. Much more a fan of Bastion of Twilight, Blackwing Descent style of raid where it's shorter hallways. Just give me to the boss fights. Um, One of the things I was a fan of Trial of the Grand Crusader was definitely the like boss rush aspect of it. And yeah, anyway, not a big fan of trash, so we'll just kind of leave that to where it is. So to wrap up, I just kind of wanted to talk about like what my plans are. I mean, this is kind of like weird and random. Like, who's this guy? He's just making a video and he's coming out of nowhere. And so basically, I'm just a dude who raids on White Mane, and I'm gonna make videos about like kind of my journey and everything like that. I'm hugely addicted to World of Warcraft, and it's basically the only game I play anymore. I'm a recovering alcoholic, and this game helps me stay sober. It's, I would say, a very huge cornerstone of my sobriety. And rather not anybody ever watches these videos or anything of that nature, rather not I get some kind of sponsorship or this becomes my main income or anything like that. Like, I have always enjoyed making videos. I did it when I was younger, and this would be kind of just a nice little outlet for me to kind of talk about something that I love and maybe share it with um, other people. So with that, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.